UN 영어뉴스 Gaza hospital, what video, pictures, and other evidence tell us about Al-Ahli hospital breast? By Paul Brown, Joshua Cheatham, Sean Seddon, and Daniel Palumbo. A deadly breast at the crowded Al-Ahli hospital in Gaza City is feared to have killed hundreds of people. The Hamas-controlled Palestinian authorities in Gaza immediately blamed Israel, claiming it was a deliberate airstrike. Israel has denied involvement. Amid the claim and counterclaim, getting to the truth is harder than ever. BBC Verify is trying to unravel what is and isn't known, looking at video footage, still imagery, and other evidence, including eyewitness accounts. In addition, a BBC journalist has been to the breast site, where there is limited access. New information is emerging all the time, so we'll continue to update this article as we learn more and talk to experts about the evidence. It is also important to note that, as well as the physical fighting, this conflict is playing out as an information war. This is not the first time authorities in Israel and Gaza have given completely different accounts of an explosion. We are also looking at their various claims and statements. The explosion at the hospital happened at around 19:00 local time on Tuesday. A 20-second video which circulated on social media purporting to show the breast was the first significant piece of visual evidence to emerge of the incident. In it, you can hear the whistling sound of an incoming projectile, followed by an explosion and a huge fire. Moment of explosion near hospital in Gaza City. Live footage from the Al Jazeera media network aired at 18:59 local time showed a bright light rising in the skies above Gaza. It flashes twice before drastically changing direction, and it then explodes. An explosion is then seen on the ground far away, followed by a much larger explosion closer to the camera operator, which the BBC has geolocated. Some commentators have suggested it is from a rocket, which appears to explode or disintegrate. Other footage, which surfaced on social media channels, showed what appears to be the same breast from different angles and distances. We contacted 20 think tanks, universities, and companies with weapons expertise. 9 of them are yet to respond. 5 would not comment, but we spoke to experts at the remaining 6. We asked whether the available evidence, including the size of the explosion and the sounds heard beforehand, could be used to determine the cause of the hospital breast. So far, the findings are inconclusive. 3 experts we spoke to say it is not consistent with what you would expect from a typical Israeli airstrike with a large munition. J. Andres Gannon, an assistant professor at Vanderbilt University in the US, says the ground explosions appeared to be small, meaning that the heat generated from the impact may have been caused by leftover rocket fuel rather than an explosion from a warhead. Justin Bronk, senior research fellow at the UK-based Royal United Services Institute, agrees. While it is difficult to be sure at such an early stage, he says, the evidence looks like the explosion was caused by a failed rocket section hitting the car park and causing a fuel and propellant fire. Mr. Gannon says it is not possible to determine whether the project struck its intended target from the footage he has seen. He adds that the flashes in the sky likely indicate the projectile was a rocket with an engine that overheated and stopped working. Valeria Scuto, lead Middle East analyst at Civil, a risk assessment company, notes that Israel has the capacity to carry out other forms of airstrike by drone, where they might use Hellfire missiles. These missiles generate a significant amount of heat, but would not necessarily leave a large crater. But she says corroborated footage shows a pattern of fires at the hospital site that was not consistent with this explanation. Visual evidence from the blast site. The BBC was able to match details of buildings and the layout of the Al-Ahli hospital site with publicly available satellite imagery to establish the hospital was the scene of the blast. Based on available evidence, it appears the explosion happened in a courtyard which is part of the hospital site. Images of the ground after the blast do not show significant damage to surrounding hospital buildings. What the images do show are scorch marks and burnt out cars. Aftermath of Al-Ahli hospital blast. Broken windows. Small crater. Upturned car. Burnt out vehicles. Damaged roof tiles. The hospital is owned and run by the Anglican Church. Canon Richard Sewell, the dean of St. George's College in Jerusalem, told the BBC that about 1,000 displaced people were sheltering in the courtyard when it was hit, and about 600 patients and staff were inside the building. Hospital site. The victims. BBC reporter Rushdi Abualof has been to the Al-Ahli hospital. Witnesses there report scenes of devastation and say bodies are still being collected. One man told him that women, children, and elderly people were at the hospital when the explosion happened. We are still analyzing images and footage of the victims to determine what they can tell us about the blast from the nature of their injuries. The BBC has viewed extremely graphic images of victims and survivors at the explosion site, which show catastrophic injuries. Pathologist Derek Pounder, a founder member of Physicians for Human Rights in the UK and an expert in the field of conflict injuries, viewed some of the images. The overall pattern of scattered injuries is what would be expected from shrapnel resulting from an explosion, he said. But he also said it was not possible to clearly make out all of the injuries in the limited number of verified images available. The Palestinian Health Ministry said on Wednesday 471 people were killed in the blast. The Israeli Defense Forces IDF said this number has been deliberately inflated, but has not released its own assessment of how many died because of lack of access to the site for independent organizations. It is difficult to verify the number killed. BBC reporter Rushdie Abualov at the scene of Gaza hospital blast. People are still collecting body parts. What we don't know yet, one of the most critical pieces of evidence, is the nature of the crater left behind by the explosion. The IDF say that the absence of a large crater or blast damage to adjacent buildings proves that the explosion was not caused by its weapons. In the image below, you can see one small crater, and we are investigating the other marks, crater and damaged fence. Damaged fence and brickwork, upturned vehicle, crater. Another important part of missing evidence is missile fragments. Projectiles are often identifiable by the wreckage of their shell, and they can be used to determine the projectile's origin. But in this case, we have not seen that evidence. The IDF has released a recording of what it says is an intercepted conversation between two Hamas militants, acknowledging the hospital was hit by a projectile fired by Palestinian Islamic Jihad (PIJ). PIJ is the second largest militant group in Gaza and supported Hamas's 7 October attack on Israel. It is not possible to independently verify this recording. In a statement, PIJ denied any involvement and blamed Israel for the blast.